talking about is different from the previous cycles? Is this bigger, and is it going to be a more long duration?
Because this cycle in many ways is similar and many ways different. So I think the Y2K cycle is a more Indian industry phenomena, because it allowed us a foothold into large enterprises, and it gave us that very solid beachhead into the global IT industry. However, if you compare it to the web or the e-business cycle that happened in the turn of the century and into 2005 timeframe, I think that's a better example to look at it. That also involved re-architecture of corporate technology systems. It involved unleashing of IT and the digitalization of consumer to enterprise and enterprise to enterprise engagement. And that changed the way value creation happened. And that was followed then by the natural extension into the mobile space. And now what we're seeing is the extension into the cloud space, where the boundary of the enterprise itself is going to become diffused. We like to call it the emergence of the boundaryless enterprise. And that will change the way industry structure itself operates by bringing in frictionless collaboration on a horizontal level across multiple companies and multiple industries. So we think that rather than thinking of it as distinct waves, these are all incremental waves that add on to each other, with significant surges coming from individual technology innovations that come. And as long as you stay on top of each of the waves, you will do very well.
Rajesh, TCS with each cycle has emerged as a winner. Your market share has gone up, your margins have gone higher. The last cycle, TCS margins were about 20%. Now their margins are north of 25.5%. That's been the advantage of this new cloud cycle. So what's the secret sauce here? Is it market share gain, or the share of the pie itself is increasing?
I think we definitely will emerge stronger, because in each of the cycles, we are entering the cycle in a different stage of evolution of our own journey. So today, we are much more deeply entrenched with our client ecosystems. Both our reach and our capabilities are a lot more heterogeneous and a lot more holistic than what it has been ever in the past. So our ability to both shape the evolution of this technology journey and this cycle, as well as our ability to stay relevant to our customers across all phases of these transformations, is continuously increasing. So we expect that we will continue to gain strength and stay even more relevant to our customers through this phase also.
I completely understand that. Look, there is a strong tailwind in this sector. But the fact that you are now, you've reached big in terms of scale and size, and we are talking about the top three here, is this largely because of market share gain?
Both, Nikunj. If you even go back over the last 5 years, if not the 2 years, you would see that the technology industry globally has expanded, even when the GDP did not expand, or it contracted less than the overall economic contraction that the pandemic brought about. So definitely this industry is expanding, and the industry is expanding ahead of the overall economic activity. And within the industry, we are gaining market share. So both tailwinds are helping us, an expansion of the pie as well as an increasing market share, as the competitiveness shifts to people who can bring in holistic solutions and who can invest across the cycle with large corporate clients, which is our sweet spot.
Now, Rajesh, let me just allude to some numbers for the attendees here and for our audience who would be watching it back home. TCS has about 6 lakh employees. That makes you one of the largest employer in India. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, TCS has 6 lakh employees right now. a number which almost look like impossible is there. My question, Rajesh, is that with this large base, there is going to be challenge in terms of managing scale, skill, size. How would you do that?
Because anytime a new boundary of scale is broken, there is always the skepticism as to has it reached a point where it is too big. That is true if you think about it from supply chain-based companies. Nobody thought that global supply chains could be run in product companies. It is true for CPG companies. Nobody thought that brands could be globally relevant and could be tuned locally well, leveraged globally. Each of these global scale operations broke new ground and broke new boundaries. We believe that in the space of talent, we have that unique positioning where we are pushing the boundary of what scale means. And the bigger thing is that is there opportunity? And then how do you organize yourself to most effectively and efficiently tap into the opportunity, which is no different than what was done in the past with branding CPG or supply chains for logistics-driven companies. So we are approaching it very systematically. And I don't have any fear that we are at the limit or near the limit of what can be achieved. The focus for us is to structure ourselves to be able to manage the scale and to leverage the scale to our advantage, both of which I believe that we are doing quite well.
Rajesh, at the India Economic Forum, we are talking about numbers. We are talking about what is the definition of scale, where companies can actually move. So what is your definition of scale? Would you judge TCS benchmarks on market cap, which is important for shareholders, employees, which is about how many people you've employed, or pure market share in terms of relative and peer comparison?
It's all of it. In fact, it's interesting that you should bring it up because early in 2001, 2002, when TCS was less than $1 billion, and we went about trying to define that what would make us relevant. And we said that we want to be global. At that time, the vision was that we should be in the global top 10. And we defined it across all dimensions. We said we should be global top 10 by revenue, global top 10 by employees, by market cap, by our reach across markets. And it is similar today also. Our aspiration is to maintain and stay at a scaled level across all dimensions of our operations, both physical as well as performance and financial.
So Rajesh, do you see TCS could become the largest IT company in the world? I know the answer, but I want to hear from you.
Absolutely. In many ways, we already are. To take our largest sector like BFSI, we are by far the number one technology services company in the world. If you take it from a talent perspective, we are very close to being, between us and number one, probably it varies period to period. By market cap, we have traded those places a couple of times during the year. So we are in the league of the top 1, 2, 3 across most dimensions. And the challenge and the opportunity is to make sure that we stay and build on that lead and continue to do well.
Rajesh, I am so missing you here because I've got Accenture and Aisha is going to be asking the same question to Accenture right after this, that but TCS is one or Accenture is number one. So Rajesh should have been here. But hopefully next time we'll try and get Accenture and TCS both. But yeah, that always continues. But one question which I guess we're asking everybody at the India Economic Forum this year is the impact of geopolitical tensions, which is how exactly has the war between Russia and Ukraine impacted business? Do you have like Brexit did impact your business. Do you see anything because of war impacting your business permanently?
Once again, an interesting question, Nikunj, because if you look at what happened during Brexit, while it did obviously have headwinds for us and it changed the volatility or made the environment a lot more challenging, net-net we were able to navigate that with significant growth and significant value addition. Our growth in our UK market, in fact, peaked during running in and post the Brexit scenario. Today, we are by far the number one service provider in UK. And that happened. We broke through that during the Brexit period. So I see periods of volatility as a natural phenomena which we should be prepared to face in any market that we operate in. But each period of volatility is also a period of opportunity. And if we position ourselves right, if we stay close to our customers, if we take the long view, invest with them and help them through their crisis, and make sure that we have the capabilities to participate in the upcycle when it comes, we will do well. And that has been our history. And I'm quite confident that we have the right philosophy and that investment mindset and the capability to be able to continue to do that in every period of volatility.
Rajesh, TCS has attrition, but the attrition rate is not the highest in the industry. It is just north of 10%. The industry is going through a serious wage inflation. You manage to retain talent. You don't give ESOPs, not too many ESOPs. I've been told that TCS, in a sense, has invested in a lot of talent development. You've decided not to really do layoffs or cost cutting when there was crisis because of Brexit or when COVID happened. So walk us through that.
Absolutely, Nikunj. I think the biggest reason that we enjoy such high employee loyalty and retention is that we are true to our word, that we believe that our biggest asset is our people and that there are no legacy people, only legacy technologies. And we have proven it again and again that by continuing to train our people, continuing to provide the first right of refusal for all new opportunities to our existing people, we have been able to systematically and in a sustainable way manage these multiple transitions that our industry sees and the pace of change that characterizes our industry. So this is the magic sauce of TCS. And everything else is a byproduct of our ability to actually retain and grow our talent base and to continuously invest in it.
So, Rajesh, again, I go back to that same point, whether it is TCS or Accenture, who would be coming on the board. They've been great compounding machines. They've managed to compound wealth. They managed to compound business. They managed to even compound profits. But at some point in time, sir, the law of averages will have to kick in. The growth for Indian IT sector in last couple of years has expanded despite a higher base. Ideally, it should have contracted. How is that possible? And when do you think that law of averages would kick in? Because I'm simply talking about in basic maths here.
The way I look at it, Nikunj, is that it is a reality that you need to be vigilant about the diseconomies of scale. But the other way to look at it is that today we are $25 billion in size. There are many companies in the world which are $50 billion, $100 billion in size. So there is no reason why we shouldn't aspire to be double, triple, quadruple times of where we are today. The question is, how should we go about it? What do we need to do right towards it? But the opportunity is unbounded, both on the demand side and on the supply side. We are sitting in a sweet spot. So I think that our aspiration by no means should be constrained to where we are today. We should be aspiring to set new standards. And we are far away from where the current standards itself are. So a huge headroom to still go forward.
Rajesh Gopinathan, always a pleasure interacting with you. As member of press, I must say that tracking the journey of TCS has been the most pleasurable stories I've reported in my career. And I just want to wrap it up with one very simple data point which should make everybody proud. It makes me very proud when I look at it, which is that Indian IT exports for the last year, they were at $200 billion. And to put that number in context, that's more than the oil that Saudi Aramco actually exports. So Indian IT industry today is bigger than Saudi Arabia's oil industry. Yes, it's happened in India, and there's reason to believe the growth is here to stay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a loud round of applause for Rajesh Gopinathan. But I'm looking forward for Accenture, ma'am. Number one, TCS or Accenture? I would be really looking at that engaging conversation with Aisha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gopinath. Thank you, Nikunj, for helping us understand how tech giants are guiding our nation to navigate through global, tumultuous times that we are in right now.